Today is Thursday, Parashat Tazria. Parashat of this week speaks in its greatest part about the Metzorah, the Tzara'at, which is leprosy and the kind of skin illness that actually is a symptom of a spiritual ailment of the person who spoke Lashon Hara about others who spoke improper speech. And part of the process to get him purified and back in the camp is he's separated and he sits in solitude, he's quarantined. And there is a concept in Torah of midah keneged midah, measure for measure. Through his Lashon Hara, through his proper speech, he separated between people. He created discord. That kind of separation, he gets measure for measure, himself separated from the camp and he's quarantined. But this idea of midah keneged midah, we find it in many different situations. The situation in Egypt when Paro said, Kol haben hayilo de'orat atashlichu, to throw into the river, into the Nile River, and any child, any son who was born, they were punished measure for measure, where they sank in the Kriyat Yam Suf, in the parting of the Red Sea. But we see also, in the positive sense, very much so, the idea of midah keneged midah. When a person does a certain act of a favor or an act of kindness, he's rewarded for it. Many examples. Miriam HaNevi'ah, she waited for her brother Moshe to be picked up by Batya. Pasuk says, she waited next to the river and waited to see what would happen with the young Moshe until Batya came and picked him up. Because of waiting there, maybe for 20 minutes or half an hour, all of Am Yisrael waited for her for 7 days until she was purified and healed from the tzara'at that she got in the desert. So we see how the reward for the person is given measure for measure and in a great way. Also, Abraham Avinu fed the angels when the three angels that came, and he was hospitable to them and he fed them. And Chachamim explained, he fed one meal to the angels, food from here. His descendants merited for 40 years to have food from the heavens that fell here with the manna that fell from the sky. So we see here again an example of measure for measure, but paid back in terms of a reward in a great way. So anytime that a person has an opportunity to do an act of kindness, to do something to help others, that is an investment with great return into the future, and he would be rewarded on the same subject, on the same theme, so it's measure for measure. Heaven forbid, on the negative side, if a person acts improperly, the measure for measure would happen on the same theme, on the same subject. And of course, we should always go by the pasuk that says, Sur mera va'aseto, stay away from bad and do good. And this idea of midah keneged midah, is measure for measure, is something that we see in the Torah and in life in general. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.